A folding electric bike with a DVSA certified throttle, a competitive price tag, and kitted out for comfort, well, it can only be the Navigator City from Pedibao. So if you're a subscriber here, you'll already know that we received 2 electric bikes from Pedibao at the start of the year. We got the e-Cruiser, which is, as you can guess, a cruiser to get around town, across the beach, however you want to use it. Cruise is in its name. The second electric bike that we got was the folding option from Pedibao, the Navigator City. Now, I have with me today the Mark II, the second version, the iteration of the original Navigator City. This is the new and improved version that I wanted to review for you today, because I know a lot of you have been asking for a review of the original Navigator. So I held off to make sure I'm covering the latest and greatest offerings from Pedibao. And by the way, if you're new here, you should definitely hit that subscribe button so you can join the Electraheads community and stay up to date with all the latest e-mobility news and reviews. So let's take a closer look at the folding option from Pedibao. So what are the updates? Well, first up, you can see here that they've updated the welding for a really seamless finish. We've now got a full color LCD display. We've also got Kenda puncture resistant tires, which come now as standard. There's also a new Cadence Assist system, which I will be testing out a little bit later. We've also got integrated front and rear lights with a brake light. Now, I know that they are actually switching up the lights, so the ones you see here are not the ones that you're going to be getting. You also get mud guards that come as standard, and you have this seat post suspension right here to make your ride as comfortable as possible. Now, the pricing has actually gone up just a touch because of these changes. So it used to be $999, it's now just under £1,200, but I do still think that's quite a competitive price for the offerings on this bike. But don't despair if that $999 price point was a clincher for you, then Pedibao do still offer their original City version for purchase. So just to be clear, the one I'm talking about today is the new and improved Mark II. Now, let me talk you through the rest of what this bike has to offer. Available in either stealth black or brilliant white, the Navigator is built with an aluminium alloy frame that has a 3-point fold with hub-to-hub locking to help with storing, particularly when you're bringing it on public transport. The 250-watt motor assists you up to 15.5 miles per hour in regulation with UK and EU law, with a range claim of up to 41 miles on one charge. And this is down to the removable battery, which is hidden here in the frame. Now, I will be testing out the real-world range very shortly, so keep an eye out for that. Tetro disc brakes and 7 gears come included, as well as 20-inch wheels for a more compact sizing. A rear rack is also available as an added purchase. Max rider weight is 120 kilograms, suited to a sizing between 5 foot and 6'2". The bike itself weighs in at 19 kilograms, and a throttle for an additional £200 is available. Yes! You heard me right. This is a folding electric bike with the added plus of a throttle, a completely, totally and utterly legal certified twist and go throttle. So what Pedibao will do is they will take each and every bike and they will take it to the DVSA themselves to get the right certificate for it. So that means that you are legally allowed to ride this thing on British roads. Now, if you want to find out a little bit more about that, then I have already covered that in my previous video on the e-Cruiser, which you can watch right here with the time code of 1249 to find out exactly how they get these things legalized here in the UK. But for now, let's go for a ride. A real world range test is on its way, don't you worry about that, guys. And I'm also going to be showing you how you can take this bike on a train, public transport, and also putting it in the boot of the car to see how it fits, if it's transportable. But anyway, enough of that. So first up, I just want to preface that switching it on and off, there's a little flap here that you can plug in your charger, and then there's also a USB charge point as well, and the on button there. So you can see I've got it switched on. This is great because when you're done with your bike, you can just switch it off, and it means that there's no accidental turn-ons, and it just helps maintain your battery's range. Let's switch it on. I love this as well. I've never seen a display that does that before. Apparently you can change that. But you can see here, it's quite an in-depth bit of kit, this. You've got your range here, but also the exact voltage of how much you have left. On the corner here, you have levels of assist. So it goes all the way up to 5. You can, of course, put it down to 0. And this here is a walk assist as well. And when I touch the buttons, there's this like haptic feedback going on. I'm getting these vibrations, which is really cool. It just lets you know that you're pressing the button and that command has gone through. You've got got your speedometer here to know exactly how fast you're going, and I've got my odometer here to know how many miles I've collected. You'll see here as well, but there's this button which lets you switch the throttle function on and off. Now that red button is very crucial because you do not want to have that throttle on if you don't realise, so it's always really good to switch that off so there's no accidental twist, which could mean the bike runs away with itself. But anyway, I think it's time to get on the road. Comfort-wise, this bike ticks a lot of boxes, I have to say. That under-seat suspension and the seat post suspension, oh, it's just a dream. And the saddle itself is very squishy, so that combination means that I'm not even exaggerating when I say this. This could potentially be one of the top 3 comfiest setups I've had. No lie, my butt. Oh, she's living the dream. On this new and improved version, the thickness of tyre has increased. Paired with a 20-inch wheel, the bike gives a nice bit of contact with the road, feels grippy in wet conditions whilst keeping it compact for storage. The handlebars are a nice width, just the right amount you need to allow you to squeeze through those tighter spots, making breezing through standstill traffic or sliding past a car to get into the bike box a much easier endeavour. Again, smaller handlebars really helps with that storage. I've been told by Pedibao that motorhome owners are a solid percentage of customers for them that love to buy a couple of these to use for day-to-day transportation, and I can really see why. As I'm sure you all know, having gears as well is really helpful for maintaining that perfect cadence when you're hitting up different terrain, so it means that you can be in that sweet spot whether you're going up a hill or going down a hill or on the flats. Now, one thing I will say with the positioning of the gear levers is the fact that when you have your hand fully in contact with the handle grips, you actually can't reach the gearing, as you can probably see here. I have to slide my hand along to actually engage the different levers. So that's just something to bear in mind. It's not an issue at all, I would say, but it's just something to note. And that's probably because there is this twist throttle here as well, which probably makes it just a touch longer. And it's the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to use the twist throttle, the big selling point of this electric folding bike. So first up, you can see here that there is a red button. This activates and deactivates the twist throttle right here. Now, this is really crucial because you do not want to accidentally touch or twist that throttle and that button be on, because the bike could go flying. So it's really great to have that safety feature there that Pedibao have added in. You have to remember that using the twist throttle will really reduce the battery's range. So this is something to bear in mind, because once you twist that throttle, it's going to be giving you all the power, all the assist possible to get you up to 15.5 miles per hour. And remember, this is without any pedaling. Should we do it? All right, the throttle is activated, and just to prove to you that there is no pedal assist whatsoever, it's just twist throttle, I'm going to be doing it without my feet on the pedals. 3, 2, 1, full send. And there we go, it's slowly climbing up to 15.5, and there it is. You can kind of hear the motor just sort of cut off there as you reach that max speed limit. Now, you could see that the acceleration, there was no jolting whatsoever. It was very smooth, very comfortable. Now, you have to remember that the max wattage that this motor can hit up to is 500 watts. So that power is going to be nice and smooth. It gets me up to 15.5 in a fairly decent amount of time. I wouldn't say it's the Ferrari of electric bikes, but it's certainly comfortable and it certainly does what you need it to. Now, I know a lot of you were questioning in the last video where I reviewed the Pedibao Cruiser whether or not you actually need to have a license when it comes to riding a twist throttle electric bike. With the Pedibao versions, you do not need a license, you do not need MOT, you do not need insurance, because the DVSA gives this bike a certificate. Pedibao organises all of this for you for just an extra cost, so that it gets certification to say that this is completely road legal and you can treat it as you would an electric bike. And I have to say, it's a very rare occasion that I'm able to legally use a twist throttle on British public roads. So being able to do this, it still feels so novel every time I do. It feels really special, because there are people out there who might have a physical ailment or a disability, which means that pedaling a bike can be difficult. And so having something like this, where you can rest your legs and you can use the twist throttle where you need, whether that be the whole time or whether that just be when you've pedaled a little bit to get some exercise and then your legs get tired. I know a lot of you out there have reached out to me. They say, Ailish, I want to be able to have the opportunity to get on something that's lightweight, that's micro-mobility, that fits my needs and my physical capabilities. So it's really great that Pedibao have this option available on the market for us. With this being a folding electric bike, you're probably wondering whether or not it's going to be suitable to take it on and off public transport. Now, the fact that it is a 19 kilogram electric bike does make it on the heavier end of what I would like for a folding electric bike, but you certainly can take this on different modes of transport should you wish, because it does fold down to a very compact size. And what is really useful is the magnets on the wheels. Now, these magnets are particularly strong. Once they are locked in together, I've not had an issue at all when I'm taking this bike around a train station or along the road. Pedibao do also provide you with a strap if you do want some extra security. It's really nice that Pedibao have thought of that, but I have not needed to use this once, and this is in a very busy public station. So if you are somebody who is looking for a folding electric bike that can be used as a multimodal companion, then I would say that this is definitely able to do that. It's just 19 kilograms, so you might just want a bit of strength and you don't want to be carrying it for too long because your arms will get tired. I also did a car boot test with this bike and it was able to fit into the ID3 Pro S Match boot, which is quite a teeny tiny boot actually. So I think if you've got a smaller car, then you're going to be grand fitting this in. It's time for the hill test. So I have come to a street called Ridgeway Place in Wimbledon, where there is quite a difficult climb. I've cycled this with analog bikes and you have to be fully out of your seat and pushing through the legs to get up this hill. So let's see how the Navigator fares. By the way guys, if you are enjoying this video at all, then please do hit that like button. Just hit that like button, that's all you need to do. And if you're new, and you want lots of e-bike reviews and content, then hit subscribe. I am in level 5 assist. I'm gonna do full, just pedal only, see how far we get. All right, let's go. So it starts off with a nice gentle incline, but it really does kick up at the top there. You can probably see with the cars in front of me, the level of which they start to climb. But at the moment, I'm not putting any weight, any work through my legs, but things are getting steeper now. We're going at 15 miles per hour in the pace. All right, you can feel the motor is just sort of starting to work a bit harder. I'm now putting some weight through my legs, but again, not really trying. All right, okay, we'll get even steeper now. We're going at 9 miles per hour, but I'm genuinely not trying to push any harder. I mean, I could push through and get to about 10, a little bit heavier in my breathing, but we're at the top now. And I would say the Navigator handled that beautifully. Now, bearing in mind, I weigh about 65 kilograms. So the heavier you are, probably the slower it will be. So that's just something to bear in mind. But that handled it, no problem. Now I'm gonna try again and I'm gonna do it throttle only because I'm just intrigued. Here we go, full throttle. I'm not gonna do anything. Clearly started off with a very easy climb. We're on 14 miles per hour currently. Now we're hitting a steeper bit of the gradient, drop down to 13, still climbing though, 12, 11, bit of a speed bump there, so that was quite a bit of a steep climb just momentarily. 10, 9 miles per hour, but it's doing it. It's putting out 576 watts, 7 miles per hour. I mean, it's very steep now, but we're going up. And the gradient is easing off now, and we are climbing back up to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes. Amazing. So yeah, look, I'd say with a bike like this, it's limited to 250 watts to be legal for the UK. Obviously, it's able to have that kind of peak output where I was hitting about 575 watts there. Maybe it could be a little bit more. But with a bike that weighs 19 kilograms, with myself 65 kg, I was still able to climb those hills. It was doing most of the work for me. And even when it was in throttle mode, it was obviously a bit slower, but it was still able to get me up. So I'd say challenge complete. And now I'm gonna be just taking in the beautiful homes on the street. What? How big is this house? That's a house. All right, you guys, it's that time that you've all been waiting for. It's time to talk real world range. So just bear in mind, real world range really can differ depending on who's riding the bike, the terrain that you're riding it on, the weather. So with that in mind, when I've been testing out the Pedibao, I have been riding it on fairly flat terrain. There's been a few inclines here and there. I weigh about 65 kilograms and I have been using this bike with both the throttle and pedal assist. So with that in mind, I was able to tot up 23 miles of range. Now, that in itself, I think, is enough to get you from A to B if you live in the city, hopefully. If you need to get onto public transport, use it for multimodal commuting. So 23 miles, you have some range to play with there. Bear in mind, I was using that with level 5 assist the whole time, plus the throttle. I wasn't using it in any less because, as you all know, this is a cadence sensor bike. And so those lower levels meant that I would be going at slower speeds. And when you're in London, you want to be going at that 15.5 miles per hour. Yeah. Now, one thing I will say is when I was running out of battery, this bike did something that I really appreciated. So a lot of electric bikes, usually when they start to get low on range, what will happen is they'll start to go into their own eco mode. So you might have it in level 5 assist, but they'll be actually putting themselves into this kind of energy saving mode, which means that the bike feels heavier and it just makes it a little bit more difficult really when you're on those final bits of range. But with this bike, it stays in level 5 assist if you want it in level 5 assist right to the end. And I really appreciate that because this is a 19 kilogram bike. So it's pretty weighty under the legs if you haven't really got much assist. So shout out to Pedibao for making sure that the assist stays at level 5 assist when you want it to be on that assist, no matter how much battery is left. Having spent time, it is very evident that this is an electric bike that could be so useful for so many different kinds of people. I mean, for example, the whole history of Pedibao came from a designer who wanted to create a bike for their child, I think it was, who had a physical impairment, and that continues on today in its electrified version with the twist and go throttle. So I think this is a really great option for people who maybe do have a physical impairment. So this is more than just an electric bike. This is a tool. This is something that could really open up people's worlds. And this isn't just for people who have a physical impairment. This could be for somebody who wants to arrive to work sweat-free, who wants to have an electric bike that can be thrown onto the train, taken back off again, and scoot into work. But anyway, that's enough from me. I would love to hear your thoughts on this one. I know this has been a much anticipated review, so please let me know down in the comments your thoughts, your feelings. Do you think it's worth the price? Could you be using this electric bike? And I'm sure Pedibao will be keen to respond to some questions as well. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here for more e-mobility news, and I will see you for the next one.